Let thy knife chip and shatter. I was lucky enough to see Dune Part 2 5 days early at a fan-first IMAX showing. I missed the first Dune release in theaters, but I got to see the recent re-release. I did really like the first one and was not disappointed in Part 2. This will be a spoiler-free review. I will have a spoiler review next week after people have had some time to see it. Also, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. I have not read the Dune books and would not call myself a huge Dune fan. I'd say I'm more of a casual Dune fan. I am a big sci-fi fan though, and I really liked the universe built up in the first movie. I researched what the world was like, the technology, the characters, and basic plots of each book. I find the initial premise of high-tech but older age kind of living very fascinating. The movie picks up soon after the first. We get more Paul with the Fremen and Chani. The pacing of these scenes is okay, but it was a lot of setup for Paul's rise, as well as Lady Jessica. Some people might be turned off by it, but I was fascinated overall. I'm not the biggest fan of Zendaya as an actress. She seems like a lovely person, but there were parts of her character and performance that didn't work for me. At first, I didn't like Timothée Chalamet in this role, but he sold me much more in this film. Rebecca Ferguson was fantastic as usual. A couple other standouts were Javier Bardem's Stilgar and Josh Brolin's Gurney Halleck, who I found very fun in this movie. One of my favorite parts of the movie was seeing Giddy Prime, the Harkonnens' homeworld. It had an amazing aesthetic. I don't know if I've ever seen anything like it before in film. It was almost black and white. I think Denis Villeneuve shot it in photo negative or something like that, and it's in black and white because they have a black sun. And their fireworks were really cool as well as the military buildup they had. This was when we were introduced to Fade Rotha, who was the sub-villain along with the Baron and the Emperor. Rotha was an interesting mirror image to Paul, and I thought Austin Butler did a really good job in this character. Stellan Skarsgård was also stellar in his unfortunate brief time in the film. And I'm not sure if Batista's Rabin is supposed to be a screaming maniac all the time. If so, good job. Guess I don't like the character. If not, then man, was he over the top. This film is 2 hours and 46 minutes, and I felt the runtime occasionally. I honestly could have gone for another 10 or 20 minutes, though, to get more setup on our antagonists, especially the Emperor. Unfortunately, he is barely in it, and I thought Christopher Walken had a great presence. I wanted more of his world and the politics of his realm. Most of the time in his world, we were centered around Florence Pugh's Princess Irulan, which I didn't mind. Her costumes were crazy and pretty cool. She did fine for her time in the film. I could have seen more of the Bene Gesserit as well. I know the book is centered around Arrakis, aka Dune, but I really wanted to see other worlds in this universe. The movie really picked up for me at Giddy Prime and on. The pace seemed to swell till we got to the final battle. And the final battle was epic, but I wish it was longer. I really do. For the runtime of this film, the battle was 10 minutes maybe? I've heard some people say that this movie is the best war film since Two Towers, and no disrespect, but it's not. If Helm's Deep was short like this, people would have been extremely disappointed back then. It's not to say that it wasn't grand in scale and spectacle. There is a final battle in this film which worked very well for me, but after that, kind of like the first movie ended, it ends abruptly, most likely setting up a sequel, but I wanted more at the end.
I want more. And I know I shouldn't.
The score is awesome, just like the last film. Hans Zimmer does a great job, and I'm not being hyperbolic saying nearly every shot in this film is beautiful. It was all in IMAX 1.90 ratio, so the screen was filled the whole time. I'm honestly looking forward to seeing it again in this ratio as well as 70mm IMAX. The sound design was bonkers, too. The theater was shaking on many occasions, and I was shaking from the sound. It was amazing. Overall, I had an absolute blast with Dune Part 2, and I think I liked it more than the first. I'll have to watch it more a few times before I make that final concrete decision, though. From what I understand, book people might not like it as much. There are some deviations from it, but I don't want to speak for them. I plan on reading the books myself at some point, so maybe I'll do a follow-up video after the fact. I highly recommend seeing this in IMAX if you can, whatever format possible, But if IMAX is not available to you, then I think going to the theater is still a great experience in seeing this film. I cannot wait to get the 4K of this film and diving into those special features and maybe deleted scenes too. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed my review, please leave a like, subscribe, and share the video. I'll see you all next time here in the Junkyard.